Hello, welcome back to the channel. So I've been doing these monthly updates for those that are invested with me on Etoro and for those who are just, I guess, curious about what I have in my portfolio at the moment. If you aren't familiar with Etoro, it is a regulated financial brokerage platform that has a copy trading feature which allows an individual to replicate the portfolio and in turn the performance of any other individual who's on the platform also. Now, I am listed on Etoro as a popular investor, but I do not receive any monetary compensation as of making this video. Just trying to be as transparent about that as possible. Currently, I've got 15 individuals that are invested with me. If you want to know more about my strategy and what stocks I'm covering, you could check out my Etoro portfolio. I've got a link in the description below, or you could just subscribe to this channel and that way you'll be updated about whatever stocks I'm covering. Great, so let's just get into the portfolio. November has been a good month. It's up 13.89% for the month and 29.8% for the year. I want to stress on the fact that these returns are not the result of leverage or borrowed money of any sorts. I've never used leverage and don't intend on using it since my focus is more so to preserve capital, not just aggressively grow it. The portfolio gain has largely been driven by 2 stocks and 1 ETF for this month, for the month of November. Nordstrom had dropped massively after its Q2 earnings just over a month ago, and I had bought into the stock back then, and since then it's up around 125%. I have been continuously taking profits from my Nordstrom position. Again, because I'm super conservative with this portfolio. I could see scenarios where Nordstrom goes to maybe $40 per share based on Q4 performance, but I can't time it perfectly, so that's why I prefer to just keep taking profits as and when and close the position whenever it comes relatively close to my calculated expected value. It's also pretty much the same story with GameStop. I'm getting quite close to the price at which I would start considering to take profits. If you're interested in why I bought into GameStop and how that position has evolved over time, you can always check out my other videos that I have up on this channel about GameStop. Also, for those that have been actually following and watching these monthly updates, you might be wondering what happened to Zoom and Docusign. I exited both of those positions because they hit targets that I had. Zoom was at a profit of 114% and Docusign was at a loss of 3%. You may find me getting in and out of a single stock multiple times based on price targets that I have in place. The reason for this is purely just risk management. I'm trying to limit the downside while capturing the maximum possible upside in the stock. So let's move on to the other new positions that are there in the portfolio. We have Align Technology and Gazprom. Align Technology is the company behind Invisalign. The stock has been performing decently since we got in, around a 9% gain. I'm still trying to gauge if this is a long-term position or not. It's been a month and I'll probably make update videos about Align if I see any sort of potential for it in the future. For now, it's mostly at a wait and watch kind of stage. Even with Gazprom, it's mostly a position that I'm just watching. The fundamentals are strong, the potential is there, but since the market is a voting machine in the short term, we have to be cautious when it comes to Gazprom. I wish I had a little bit more of an allocation in Gazprom since there are scenarios where I could see a similar sort of trajectory to what we saw with GameStop. Gazprom's management is expected to announce an increase in the dividend payout ratio from 30% to 50%, and this stock will react positively on the news as it has in the past. Okay, so that's all the single stocks. Now let's go to the ETFs in the portfolio, SPY and IWM. This year, we've seen a massive divergence between large tech and small companies. As the news about the vaccines came up, we saw that there was a lot of recovery in small cap stocks. In order to capture the upside from the recovery and benefit from the realignment of the divergence, I decided to buy IWM, which is an ETF focused on the Russell 2000 index. We've done quite well in this position, considering it's such a widely diversified ETF. It's up a little more than around 7%, 7.4 something percent. It's a similar story with the SPY ETF that covers the S&P 500 index. And finally, let's go to my favorite position to talk about, which is cash. As always, cash is a large position in the portfolio and November is no exception to that. The portfolio is sitting at 40% cash, and that will be adjusted as and when I find new opportunities to get into. If you're interested in knowing why I like having such a high percentage of the portfolio in cash and how I plan on deploying it, There's a separate video that I've made that's dedicated to this, so you could look into that if you're interested. I'll include a link to that also in the description below. So I hope that this update gave you a better insight into my portfolio and thought process. If you've got any questions, you could leave them in the comments below, or get in touch with me on Etoro, or even send me a DM on Instagram. Do let me know what your performance was like in November and what are your expectations going into December. So that pretty much covers the portfolio. I hope it was informative and helpful. Thank you for watching.